Welcome back into the Rounding Third Baseball Podcast, episode 209, opening weekend, featuring Baseball History Dork and Nostalgic Baseball Geezer. This is going to be an incredible episode. We are so pumped for this. I'm Nick. We have Harrison. We'll get to Harrison in a minute. But I'm going to introduce...
along for the ride.
Yeah, exactly. We'll introduce our two guests. We have Baseball History Dork. We have Forrest. How are we doing tonight, Forrest?
Nope. Doing great. I have to say, though, it's interesting being on this side of it rather than being a viewer and just kind of throwing off my stream of consciousness comments and waiting to see how you'll react.
It's all good. It's a live show. Just let it happen for us. We're all good for it. And we have Nostalgic Baseball Geezer, Justin. How are we doing, Justin?
Well, good. I almost got the White Sox had a real good chance at pulling off a series win. Didn't quite pull it off, but the Cardinals ended up sweeping the Twins.
Pretty convincingly.
Yeah, sorry about that, Forrest.
Yeah.
I'll get over it.
Anyways, moving on. Yeah, White Sox, I was like, with opening day, I looked, there's 3-0. Then all of a sudden they have 8 runs on the board. And I go, do I have the White Sox game on? Is that what's going on here? Yeah.
I mean, I had high expectations, obviously. I mean, people were thinking the Sox are just going to tear it up this year. So
yeah,
I'll take a win whenever I can get it. One out of 3, I think is actually not too bad.
Absolutely. All right. Before we get going, make sure you follow and like us on Facebook. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can also like on or follow on Instagram, Rumble, and TikTok. Can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. We also have our affiliate programs. You can find Dick's Sporting Goods, MLB Shop, and Lids on the tops of all of our socials. You just click on that link and purchase anything through these companies. We get a nice little kickback with no additional cost to you. So please do your shopping for these companies through us. It would be greatly appreciated. And also, Rounding Third merch is out there. So get yourself some merch. Rounding Third Baseball on Etsy. Check it out. We have a ton of stuff on there. We will be adding more as we get going here. But another great way to support us. So please check that out. All right. Business stuff aside, here we go. We're going to jump into the meat of the show. So we have Baseball History Dork and Nostalgic Baseball Geezer, Forrest and Justin, on the show. And you will see them pop up periodically once a month, twice a month on our show from now on. So we are really excited to welcome these guys into our Rounding Third community and to throw some baseball history knowledge on us, because I'm going to be sitting back and listening to these two guys go on. So I hope you all enjoy this as much as I'm going to. So with that being said, we're going to start off with Justin. He's a writer for the Redbird Rants, and you can follow him on Nostalgic Baseball Geezer. So go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, so I wrote an article about Bob Gibson, I don't know, a week or so back. The genesis of it. I enjoy watching old World Series games on YouTube. So that is, that lets you know about my thrilling nightlife, where I'll watch Bob Gibson pitching. And when I was watching the 1968 series, Game 7, deciding game, Cardinals versus Detroit Tigers, and it was Gibson versus Mickey Lolich, and they go 6 innings scoreless. There's a unfortunate misplay by Curt Flood that kind of ruins it for Gibson, costs the Cardinals chance at winning it. But the whole time that I was watching, I kind of in the back of my mind had this idea of, I'm looking for Bob Gibson to stand out in some way, because I keep hearing about how intimidating he is, and I've heard all these stories. There's a very famous quote from Hank Aaron, and I'll just read it to you verbatim. Hank Aaron said this about Bob Gibson. He said, "You don't dig in against Bob Gibson. He'll knock you down. He'd knock down his own grandmother if she dared to challenge him. Don't stare at him. Don't smile at him. Don't talk to him. He doesn't like it. If you happen to hit a home run, don't run too slow. Don't run too fast. If you happen to want to celebrate, get in the tunnel first. And if he hits you, don't charge the mound, because he's a Gold Glove boxer." And, that sounds pretty intimidating to me. But when I was watching this World Series game, I just didn't kind of see that Bob Gibson. I saw a great pitcher. I saw someone who had an incredible slider, great mound presence, had some pop on his fastball, controlled the game, but I didn't really see, I guess I was expecting him to be knocking down hitters every other at bat, and it just wasn't happening. Didn't hit anyone. He threw up and in a couple times, maybe. I wouldn't even call them brushback pitches. And so then I watched a few other Bob Gibson games in the World Series, and he hit a batter in one that I saw, but it was not intentional. It was clearly not trying to intimidate a batter. There was, I think, Mickey Mantle was on first base or something. I can't remember the hitter he plunked, but it was not in a situation where he was trying to make a statement or anything. So this idea of Bob Gibson being this intimidating presence, I just didn't see it with my own eyes. So I kind of looked into a few things about Bob Gibson that I hadn't maybe considered before. Just kind of assumed that he was this intimidating presence. And it was because of a couple things. The two main claims that I kept hearing that I kind of think are maybe misconceptions, or that he was a headhunter, which is the first one that we'll talk about. And then the second one, which we'll get to in a second, is that he just looked intimidating. So for the headhunter one, there's not really any data for brushback pitches that I could find, but hit by pitch data, there's that out there. And so, pretty simple calculations. You can see how frequently Bob Gibson was hitting guys. And it came out to one hits batsman every 38 innings, which, for Bob Gibson, that's probably, 5 ball games there, maybe 4 if you're talking about 68. So he's, I was kind of thinking it would be more frequently than that. The comp for him was Greg Maddux. So Greg Maddux hit batters at about the same rate, one batter per 37 innings. So Maddux actually hit guys a little bit more frequently. And I don't think anyone thinks Greg Maddux was the most intimidating presence out there. So that was like the comp for him. And then around his time, the other intimidating pitcher that was supposedly a headhunter was Drysdale. And then the more recent one, who you guys love, I'm sure, is Pedro.
1,000%.
And Drysdale came out to one hit batsman every 22 innings, and Pedro was one every 20 innings. So, Drysdale and Pedro, you're talking about every 3 games or so. Gibson, maybe every 5 games. Just, in terms of just hitting guys to make a statement, the stats don't really bear out that Gibson was out there plunking guys with a higher frequency than other people. And I looked at the postseason stats too for Gibson, and he hit batters at about the same frequency in the postseason. And just from, going back and looking at video, the ones that I saw, or the one that I saw, it just didn't seem like he was making a statement on that either. It just seemed like it was one that got away from him. So I think the headhunter thing, if you kind of read interviews from Gibson before he passed, he didn't really love that idea that he was known as this super intimidating headhunter guy out there. And the data doesn't really back up that he was, purposefully trying to go ahead and bean players.
Why do you think he got that, moniker kind of put on him? Just because he was so filthy?
I mean, I think and we'll get back to this later too. I'll come back to it a couple times, but it's just, he's a great pitcher. And I think sometimes you hear some of these stories, he was a Gold Glove boxer. And then, we'll talk about him kind of looking intimidating too. And then as the years go by, I think just some of these stories just kind of snowball a little bit and build on each other. And it kind of builds up this mythology a little bit. Yeah. Not saying that he's not intimidating, because I wouldn't want to go ahead and face him. I think any great pitcher is intimidating in their own right, just on their talent. But I think that's, primarily what it is talent. And, thrown inside chin music, there's really no evidence that he's doing that any more than any other pitcher in the 60s and 70s. Owning the inside of the plate, those kind of things, that's pretty much commonplace. It's not something that he was, there's any evidence to suggest he was doing more frequently than other guys. Just maybe he maybe he looked scarier to some people. Maybe he had the persona as being a headhunter. But it's not because of anything Gibson really did that he has this misperception as a headhunter.
Yeah, he's not Pedro Martinez pointing at his head when
Right.
you know a player comes up to the plate. Yeah,
right. And that's not to say he didn't bean people on purpose sometimes, just like every other pitcher in the major leagues has at some point. But nothing out of the ordinary in regards to that.
Yeah, this is actually a decent question, and it's hard because Justin already said it, right? Like we don't have data on guys that threw up and in, but didn't hit any guys. Like it's just a ball in the book. So like can't really tell unless you saw it with your own eyes. But
and you got guys from further back that had higher rates too. I don't remember the exact number, but Walter Johnson's hitting guys more frequently. He was an intimidating presence too, threw really hard for, back in the 1910s and 20s. But he doesn't have that same reputation as Gibson as a headhunter.
Yeah, it's awesome.
The second one is the look. And you can see lots of pictures like the one up there about him just kind of having a scowl on his face. And watching the games, I really didn't see a big scowl on his face, but there's pretty good reason why he kind of looked intimidating. And it wasn't his height. He was 6'1". Koufax was an inch taller. Drysdale was more than a couple inches taller. So it wasn't that he was particularly, tall or built. It was just that he had this look on his face of intensity. And the reason behind it, Gibson said, during his career, he was wearing glasses when he wasn't on the mound. And when he came out to the mound, he didn't wear glasses. So he was trying to see the catcher's signs. And so he was intently looking to go ahead and see what the catcher was calling. And as a result of this, he had this look on his face that looked like he was scowling, but it was really just him trying to focus and read what the catcher's saying, kind of squinting and looking like that. Not really trying to go ahead and glare at people, just something that he was doing to go ahead and see signs. So that's another thing out of his control. I mean, I guess it's within his control. He could have thrown on glasses, thrown on some of those rec specs that you see Chris Sabo rocking in the 80s and 90s. He could have done that. I don't think that would have made him look more intimidating either. But, not really anything that he was doing, with any intent. It just looked that way because he couldn't see that well.
Yeah, that's funny. I would love to see him with Sabo glasses on. I'm kind of picturing it right now, but yeah, that's pretty cool.
The other thing I mentioned in the article is just, his fastball, which rates as, pretty hard thrower. But the estimates are mid-low 90s, maybe topping out around 95, 96, which is very fast for back then, but it's not faster than some of the other peers that he has. Definitely not touching 3 digits like Nolan Ryan. So, some of this intimidating, idea that we have behind Bob Gibson, it's not really, matching that he stands out above anyone else in terms of like speed on his fastball, him looking intimidating. It's mainly just him squinting because he can't see. And then the headhunter thing, I think is just kind of completely overblown.
Yeah. I mean, that's baseball in a nutshell, right? I mean, there's tons of stories out there where, kind of like you said, kind of snowballs and now it becomes baseball lore, baseball legend. They say like, Babe Ruth pointing the bat to center field. He wasn't really, he was just doing it during a warm-up swing. Like, just something in his routine, but it looks like he's calling his shot and it's now turned into Babe called a shot and then hit it. So, I mean,
and it's hard to kind of turn around that momentum too. The Yankees with their new bats is the latest story that came out. There's, maybe these new bats have some special powers, but it's been a game or two for a couple players using these bats. I don't know if that's any like proof of anything yet. Like, I think we need more of the sample size than a couple games to say that it's really anything.
I mean, they put up 33 runs in those 2 games. So
they did.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, it could be. And if it is something, I mean, we'll find out over time, and clearly other teams would copy it. It's not like there's some conspiracy that's going to help out the Yankees here. I mean, other teams will copy it if it is something.
Yeah, they already have. Some other players had it.
There's already
Swanson
a couple
used it.
that are jumping in on that, and so
yeah, absolutely. Well, that was awesome. I love Bob Gibson. He's one of my top 5 starting pitchers of all time.
Just because of, will die down soon.
Yeah,
it's funny you mentioned top 5. Ranking things like that. I'm just starting the ridiculous work of trying to do a top 100 list of players of all time, because Joe Posnanski did one, and I looked at it and thought it was pretty good, but like a lot of things in my life, I'm like, I'm going to tweak it a little bit and change some things and reanalyze these, and probably not do things any better, but try to come up with my own list. So I'll be curious to see where Gibson ends up, but for his era, kind of in the 60s and early 70s, he's got to be the top guy in my book.
Yeah, I like. You just look at that. Was it the 62 season where he had the 1.12 ERA? I mean,
the 68 season.
68 season. Yeah, just
lowest ERA in the modern era.
Yeah, absolutely crazy.
Yeah, the guy known for breaking baseball and them having to change him out because of what he did. Very large figure, looming figure in baseball history.
Yeah, you got to go back to dead ball era like Tim Keefe to get a lower ERA than Gibson had that year.
Yeah, crazy. All right. Anything else on Bob Gibson from either one of you? No? Good?
They're scared straight by that.
No, I just think like you said, that domination itself will make a guy intimidating. It's going to make you scared to go up there to the plate to face him because you're going to be embarrassed.
Yeah, right. Pretty big motivator. Or demotivator, I guess. But awesome. Yeah, that was incredible, Justin. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we have Forrest, Baseball History Dork. You can follow him on Facebook as well. So make sure you do that. He puts out a lot of great stuff, just as Justin does. Harrison and I have fallen in love with both of your pages. We think they're absolutely incredible. They're great reads, and it's great content. The reason why we have them on, because we want them to also have a platform to share the stories with everybody. So Forrest is going to run down some history of some old team nicknames.
Love it.
Did we lose? And we lost him.
We lost Forrest right in his big moment.
We'll freestyle it.
Yeah.
They're called the Twin Cities Twins.
Yeah. I can only imagine why. He should be back here in a couple seconds here.
We actually had John was asking in the chat about Gibson's vision. Was there ever anything reported in terms of what his vision actually was, how bad it actually was?
No, I mean, there's a story about him going to a party and Willie Mays seeing him without his glasses, or with glasses on, sorry. And Willie Mays was like, what's going on? Why is he wearing glasses? And one of Gibson's friends was like, yeah, he always wears glasses. He just doesn't wear them on the mound. And I guess that scared Willie even more, because then he was thinking, well, he can't see that well. He's not going to be able to control the stuff. And Willie Mays, he hit under the Mendoza line against Gibson for his career, as 180 or something like that, where it wasn't very high. So the glasses thing ended up helping him out, at least in intimidating Willie Mays a little bit.
Yeah.
I can't imagine there's a lot of guys that have better success than Willie Mays anyways, but
yeah,
scary.
Yeah. All right.
Am I here?
You are here, Forrest. Go ahead whenever you are ready.
All right. Sorry about that.
You're all good.
Yeah, so what I am here to go on and on about is just some of the team names throughout history that are kind of a little more obscure. Some of them are a little less obscure, but just something that I find interesting. Former team names of the current MLB teams. And this is just something that even when I was a kid, I found really interesting, because I'd be reading old baseball history and I'd see these names and I'm like, well, who is that? And it kind of made me look into it a little more to put together the pieces. And so I don't know. It's something I've always been interested in. So the first one there on your screen is the Twin Cities Twins. Right after the Minnesota Twins, or after Minneapolis found out that the Washington Senators were going to be relocating to Minnesota, the owners of the team wanted to call it the Twin Cities Twins. The AL president, Joe Cronin, said that's we're not going to do that. And it wasn't because it was monotonous, Twin Cities Twins, because Minnesota already had the St. Paul Saints. It was more just that Joe Cronin didn't think that nationwide fans would understand what the Twin Cities was. It wouldn't recognize that as a place name. So, I guess it wasn't something that people heard of as much as they do now. I think people from around the country probably know Minneapolis, St. Paul as the Twin Cities. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's where the Twin Cities Twins came from, and that's where the logo comes from. The two guys crossing the river, shaking hands, making peace between St. Paul and Minneapolis.
That's cool.
And then
a lot of beef between St. Paul and Minneapolis, those two cities. I've only been to St. Paul, Minneapolis a few times, but is there like a rivalry there between the two cities?
Well, there was back then. There was a pretty good rivalry. They had the St. Paul Saints, and then they had the Minneapolis Millers. They were both pretty stellar minor league teams, and it was a divide, a very definite divide between which team you followed, I think, back in those days. Cool. So nice. I think having the Twins in town is kind of brought people together.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So the next one is the Washington Senators. Before the Twins, they were the Washington Senators from 1901 to 1960. The reason I'm putting this up here is because from 1905 to 1955, so most of the American League Senators history, they were actually officially known as the Washington Nationals. Now, back in those days, names were not very official usually, and American League teams would generically be known as the Americans. National League teams would generically be known as the Nationals. But like I said, they're in the American League, and they were called the Nationals.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of Washington, this is a picture of the viewers have probably seen. It's 1974 when the San Diego Padres came this close to moving to Washington, D.C. And they came so close that, as a lot of people probably know, the Topps baseball cards actually said Washington National League instead of San Diego, the first printing anyway. And so this is actually the mock-up of what was going to be the Washington Stars uniform. But there was a time when they were going to be called the Washington Pandas, or at least that idea was thrown around a little bit. And it was because the Washington Zoo had just gotten a pair of giant pandas from China, and it was kind of a sensation. So they were going to name the team after the pandas, and frankly, I think that's better than Nationals.
I'm with you 1,000%. Give me that nickname all day.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm buying that hat in a minute.
Isn't it like the trash pandas in the minor league system somewhere? Somebody.
I've heard of the trash pandas.
Yeah, the Rocket City Trash Pandas.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so pretty cool. Yeah, but that's a raccoon. It's not an actual panda.
Yeah,
true.
But, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, well, semantics.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
all right.
Next one, the Philadelphia Blue Jays. As you can see, it says Phillies, but it was around about 1944 when the Phillies had not been very good for very long, in a long time. And the owners held a contest to rename the team, and Blue Jays was the winning entry. So from 1944 to 1945, the Phillies logo actually had a blue, although I think they kept the name Phillies. It was just kind of like they're in limbo. But the Blue Jay was present there on that logo for a couple of years, and a song called Blue Jay G.
Yep. Lost them again. It's all right. We'll get them back.
I mean, Phillies saying that they were, not very good. I mean, that's an understatement. They were horrible for a very long time.
Yeah.
They were not a good franchise for forever. So, I mean, it's not the first time I've heard of a story of some of these franchises just kind of throwing it out, whether it's for like the team name or for like a mascot, where they'll just kind of like publish it in the papers and they'll be like, all right, guys, let's vote for it. Let's mix it up and just try something new.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, I mean, I've heard of this, but didn't know the reasoning why, but it's pretty cool.
So I don't know what the last thing you heard me say was, but they actually had a theme song called Blue Jay Genie. And that was 1947 that song was kind of big. And by 1950, I don't know, I guess the fans, the office was all for it. They thought Blue Jays all the way, but the fans weren't having it. They liked Phillies. So I think the front office is like, you know what? We're the Phillies.
Yep.
So that kind of died out.
Nice.
And that was that.
The Blue Jay Genie theme song. You gonna serenade us with some lyrics to it?
That would be amazing.
Yeah. No.
Try.
Man. All right, we got.
We're losing them again.
Yeah.
Lost Forest again. All right.
Yeah. We'll get through it. It's all good.
I was trying to look it up, and all I got's the "I Dream a Genie" theme song. Not the same thing, I don't think.
No, absolutely not. I've definitely heard of the Houston Colt 45s here, but I don't know the history behind it or why they ended up changing it to the Astros. Any of you guys know why?
I'm not sure why they went with Astros as opposed to the Colt 45s. I doubt it had anything to do with like when the Washington Bullets changed their name. I doubt it was anyone's like, this gun theme is a little too edgy for us.
Yeah.
I think that probably was not the reason.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though. Today they'd be forcing them to change that name because somebody would be offended by it.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah.
All right.
So
I think we're going to get through one of these at a time.
Harrison,
I heard you say that they'd be forced to change the name because someone would be offended, and I think that's kind of where I was going with this because I wanted to mention how the Washington Bullets in the NBA, for example, it just wouldn't Colt 45s wouldn't fly right now. I don't know if that's where you were.
Yeah, that's pretty similar to what the discussion we were having for sure.
Yeah, just the fact we don't know the history of them.
I actually I don't know why they decided to change the name at that time to Astros, other than just to honor the space program. But what I did want to mention though is what really catches my eye about this is that Colt 45, as far as I know, that's a brand name and a brand of firearm, and it just kind of struck me as really interesting that a Major League Baseball team would be named after a brand or a product.
Oh, yeah. Were the Astros owned by them maybe at some point? Were the Houston Ball Club owned by them? They must have had some connection to it, I would imagine.
That is something I would think so. I haven't found any evidence that they were under the same ownership. But it's just quite possible. Maybe somebody watching knows a little more about it than I do, but
yeah, it's pretty cool.
I mean, maybe that's the next step for team names is just also malt liquor. Maybe that's the next step for team names to go ahead and just be the Houston.
I forgot about that part.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only thing I'm seeing about the change to the Astros was they were the 45s from 62 to 64. Well, the Astrodome was being built. And then when they moved in the Astrodome in 65, they changed the team name to the Astros to try to connect all the space dots there.
Yeah. And the Astrodome was supposedly like, this wonder of the world that people were obsessed with, and was supposed to be, this is the wave of the future, these domes.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, Forrest kind of touched on this too, was the whole trademark issues with Colt 45s and all that stuff. So maybe that's what it was, and they, the ownerships weren't the same. But yeah,
it's funny cool how some of these like things in history, like there's so little written about them, but other things that like really seem so relevant, there's so much written about them.
You're right. Yeah.
Like the who was the really short guy that got walked and had one plate appearance that you see stories circulating about?
Eddie Goodell.
Yeah. Won it back.
Yep.
All right. Let me try to get through this. So this one, and like I mentioned earlier, some of these early team names were not even close to official. They weren't like trademark names like we have now, but
man, we're having issues.
Well, if you're kind of reading that, I like how it says they lost their Papa Anson. So they're talking about Cap Anson.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that's where he's going with the orphans on that one, because Cap Anson was the leader of that Chicago franchise eventually they became the Cubs, but that franchise was like super successful in the 1880s. So that was like the first dynasty in the National League was the Chicago Cubs franchise.
Yeah. 1,000%. All right. You back, Forrest? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Go ahead. No, we've lost.
You guys know anything about the Boston Rustlers?
I do not. I've never, like these last few, I had no clue on any of these. Like these are 1911. It was the 41st season of the franchise, it says. Yeah.
So that's is that the Red Sox franchise?
No, I think the Red Sox and the Braves were all separate.
Yeah. So that must have been the Braves.
Yeah. Harrison, you try to bring him in and see if it changes.
Do you guys have a lot of, as Red Sox fans, are you guys pretty deep into like Red Sox history back at the turn of the century, like early 1900s? Or is that not something that Red Sox fans really, now that you guys have won a championship in recent times?
I mean, like, we don't really talk about like that history that much anymore. Cause I mean, like we leave the 27 rings in the past. Like we don't really talk about it, but I mean, we know they were successful back then, but just had 100 years in between. But I mean, I've never really hooked on to the history part of baseball as much as I have recently, like just reading your guys' stuff. So that's why we have you on. Like, I love it. So,
yeah. So I caught a little bit of what you were talking about relating to the orphans there, and I think you pretty much covered it. Cap Anson left after 22 years, and the writer of that article that was on the screen suggested orphans, and it kind of stuck for a little while, but again, it wasn't very official. And then they changed the name again, which I'll get to later on, actually. So,
did they go to the Bastards after that, or no?
What was that?
Did they go to the Bastards after that, or?
Oh, that is a very good idea.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a Cardinals fan. I'm sure you'd love that. The Rustlers were, in fact, the team that is now the Atlanta Braves. And the team before that, or the Boston team before that, was owned by a pair of brothers by the name of Dovey. So from 1907 to 1910, they were called the Doves. and then a bloke named William Russell bought the team, and he changed the name to the Rustlers because I guess that sounded tougher.
Yeah.
And then that only lasted a year, and then I think they were the Braves right after that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the Cleveland Naps. This is they're the Cleveland Guardians now, and they became the Naps because of Napoleon Lajoie, or Lajoie, however you pronounce that. I believe it's Lajoie, but they changed the name, or they started referring to the team as the Naps anyway in his second season. I mean, he was that well appreciated and dominating as a player. I mean, back in those days, players were seen as just like otherworldly figures, I think, and so
that's all. Like I always pronounced it LaJoy because I didn't know the actual pronunciation of his last name. But so
yeah, we were talking about that strangely the other day. I think it's LaJoie. I think I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
I think if you go with more of a French accent, then it sounds more official. So if you're like LaJoie, yeah, then it sounds right.
You don't want me to do that. So all right.
I'm going to hold off on attempting to pronounce that.
Yeah. So.
Anyway, and then another in a string of teams that were named after players and owners and managers, the Brooklyn Robins from 1916 to 1931. The gentleman on the screen there, Wilbert Robinson, he managed the team from 1914 to 1931. And so, as soon as he left the team, they changed the name again. But they were the Brooklyn Robins, and they won 2 National League pennants under that name. So just given this string of teams, like I said, that were named after managers and owners, it got me thinking about today's baseball, and I immediately kind of latched on to John Fisher with the A's. And I thought, what about calling the A's the Oakland, Las Vegas, Sacramento Fisher Kings? The Arthurian legend of the Fisher King is something like he was the last in a line of kings that was tasked with guarding the Holy Grail, except he was quite inept in many ways, and the kingdom kind of fell into disrepair under his watch. And I think that matches what's going on with the A's quite well.
Yep.
Though I think it's kind of unfair to name the players after that, though. But
yeah, I'm all for that name change.
Seems like it fits.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the New York Yankees already got New York Judges. I mean, that would fit well. Los Angeles Mookies.
All right,
Mookies,
not bad.
The LA Otanis.
That's more like
I
it.
think, Otani maybe. The Mookies sounds better though. It's got better ring.
I like
the Los Angeles Freeman. Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Mookies just sounds like a baseball nickname for some
It really
reason.
does.
Like a team name.
Absolutely.
I don't know what the logo would be, but anyway.
Just Mookie's face.
Yeah, right. We're not even going to hide it.
No.
All right, so going back to Brooklyn, and this is the same team, this team that's the LA Dodgers now. But so back in the 1890s, for a while, the team was called the Bridegrooms or the Grooms, just based on the fact that several of the players had been married at the same time, and they just started calling them that. However, they weren't very good in 1898. In 1898, they won 54 games. They switched their name to the Superbuzz. A lot of people say Superbuzz, but I'm pretty certain it's Superbuzz, because superb. And they actually were. I mean, they went from 54 wins to 101 wins after changing the name to the Superbuzz. And they won the National League in 1900. So they won the National League 2 years in a row under that name, and then they kind of drifted off. But for a while, Superbas worked for them.
That's cool. I had no clue about that one.
I think that franchise used to be they were the Trolley Dodgers before all
And
of
the
that
Trolley
too.
Dodgers.
Yeah, just for dodging, trying to avoid getting hit
Uh,
in the
listen, I
busy
could
Brooklyn
go on
streets.
and on about every name that every team had, but
Such a New York name, the Trolley Dodgers.
Yeah. So, speaking of 1899, that's when the Superbas came to be. But that same year in St. Louis, it was kind of like the bridge year between the St. Louis Browns and the St. Louis Cardinals. So, the Orioles aren't the only team that used to be called the St. Louis Browns. But in 1899, between Browns and Cardinals, they were called the St. Louis Perfectos, and they were far from perfecto. They finished in 5th place. I mean, they had a pretty decent record. I think they won, maybe 80, 85 games, but still finished 5th. And the thing about that team is they were the team that was under the same ownership as the infamous Cleveland Spiders, who infamously won 20 games and lost 134 that year. And being under the same ownership, they shifted all their talent from Cleveland over to St. Louis. And that's what happened to the Cleveland Spiders. But like I said, it really didn't do the Perfectos a whole lot of good. But
yeah, one of the big names there, that was Cy Young going from the Spiders to the St. Louis franchise. So, I mean, those were some big names. Jesse the Crab Burkett was one of the guys that they threw over there. So they had there was multiple Hall of Famers that were shifting from that Spiders franchise to the St. Louis franchise.
Wow.
It was devastating. Wow. I mean, the Spiders were a championship team like 5 years earlier, if not less. So
they were the same owners? It was the same ownership? Is that?
Yeah, the Cleveland Spiders.
The Robinson brothers or something like that?
Was it the
I think it was the Robinson brothers or something was their name. Yeah, they owned both franchises, and basically, westward expansion, St. Louis was the bigger city, so they wanted to ditch Cleveland because they weren't bringing in as many people.
Yeah, probably still want to do that, but anyways.
That's a theme for Cleveland.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah, imagine if like the Yankees and the Dodgers were owned by the same, and they did that right now. Yeah. We'll just take Judge, Garrett Cole, put him on the Dodgers. Why not? Crazy. That's cool.
And then the last thing I've got, actually, it's not on the slides, but speaking of St. Louis and the whole feud between the Cubs and the Cardinals that I mentioned earlier, found it interesting. I should have put it up on the slides, but you could find it. It's out there. Right after, they were kind of known as the Orphans for 4 years, 1898 to 1902, and then it wasn't long after that they actually officially became the Cubs. But in 1903, there was a St. Louis writer who suggested that the Chicago club call themselves the Chicago Microbes. So basically calling them a disease or a virus. Right. I mean, if that's not funny. You want to start a feud, that's
right.
Yikes.
We should just have every rivalry fan base name the other team that they're rivals against. That'd be incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, you want to start some name calling.
Yeah, right.
Those could get pretty rugged.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Well, like I said, this was awesome to have you guys on. Everybody that's watching, you'll see these guys pop on periodically. They'll take us to history class, and we're excited for it. So thanks for joining us tonight and running down those checklists, because those are pretty damn awesome. Do you guys have anything to add before you take off for the evening?
Happy that baseball season's starting and we can watch some games again.
Yes, absolutely.
Looking forward to it.
All right.
And Devers off to an incredible start. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, it's pretty sad. 0 for 16 with 12 Ks ain't gonna do it.
Yeah. And then seeing Mookie Betts hit a game-winning homer the other night too. That probably doesn't sit well with you guys.
Yeah, hit the go-ahead in the 8th, and then hit the walk-off in the 10th. So yeah, that was great.
Speaking
yeah,
of the current microbes,
That would be the Cubs right now, Captain Jero.
yeah, that's awesome. But, all right, fellas, we will be in touch. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hope everybody in the chat loved that. Thanks for stopping by and added to the discussion. Can't wait to have you guys back on for sure.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys.
All right.
awesome. Thanks, guys.
Take care. Awesome.
Whew, some serious history there. It's amazing. Baseball is so old as a sport. There's so much history. There's just so much to try to take in, and the fact how much these guys know is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah. Like I'm sitting here, like I want to add to the conversation, and I just have no clue. Like I have to like really start diving in and reading more on like the deep history, because they're like, I mean, Forrest goes way back to the 1800s. Justin dabbles in that like all over the place. But it's just stuff I had no clue about. So it's pretty dang incredible. So
what I think is pretty cool, I went to Google and I typed in Brooklyn Superbas to pull up some information, and it took me right to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Like even Google is helping you like make all those connections.
yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, you guys will see them on periodically, probably just one at a time. But we wanted to have both of them on to kind of introduce them to you guys. So yeah. And we will get into opening day. Oh, you want to know who my favorite player is right now? So right now, my favorite player to watch is Ketel Marte. My favorite player of all time is Jason Varitek. So those are my two right now. Harrison, do you have? I mean, we all know your favorite player.
Favorite player of all time is Nomar. My favorite player right now to watch is probably Bobby Witt.
I mean, he's ridiculous.
Yeah,
but pretty cool. All right. Opening day weekend. Let's get into it.
Yay, baseball.
Let's
Woo!
go. This was an incredible weekend. I watched so much baseball. I was so happy. Absolutely incredible. We'll start off with this. Steinbrenner Field. The Rays open up at Steinbrenner Field. They opened up on Friday. The MLB gave them an extra day to kind of cover up all the Yankee stuff, get everything switched over to the Tampa Bay Rays. And they did a heck of a job. They only had a week to cover up all the emblems, everything, and stuff like that. Pretty cool. But it came down. It's Rockies and Rays, bottom of the ninth. Cameron Meisner hits a walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth. He's the first player to have his first career MLB home run be a walk-off on opening day. So follow that for a second.
Yeah, that's a lot. A lot of qualifiers to make that a first.
Yeah, right. We always make fun of baseball stats like that, right? It's like, oh, he's the first guy to record 2 hits on the wind blowing out of the Northeast at 25 knots on an odd numbered day in an even numbered month in an odd numbered year. We're just like,
yeah,
okay.
On a
so it's kind of
Tuesday
like
with the moon in whatever phase. It's like, oh my goodness, stop.
Yeah, guys. But I mean, still pretty cool.
Amazing.
Yeah, first career home run's a walk-off on opening day. It's pretty dang remarkable. But how are we feeling about? Did you check in on the Rays at Steinbrenner Field at all?
I did. I watched a little bit of the game on a little bit on opening day, and a little bit on Saturday, and it's. I mean, the Rays are. I kind of think who we thought they were. They are a scrappy team. They still got some talent there, but I will say, like watching them at Steinbrenner Field, boy, did it feel like spring training. It's just such a weird feeling because the place is, there's not that many seats. It's not that big. It's not that loud. You can hear everything very clearly on the field. Like it's really weird. But I will say what I saw, the games were actually pretty good. It was played. It was well played. I think the Rays play a decent type of baseball. They're going to win some games. I just don't think they're going to win enough. And then the Rockies are just existing out there.
Yep, agree. All right, Dodgers and Tigers Friday night. So Justin actually just brought this up before we took off. Mookie hits a go-ahead solo shot in the bottom of the 8th and then hits the walk-off 3-run homer in the 10th. I mean, a little dramatic. All I needed was a base hit. But
Are you criticizing him for doing too much?
yes.
As the teenagers would say, he's doing too much.
Yeah, he's doing too much. But the Tigers have been in every game and continue to scrap. So, I mean, what I took out of that series was I think the Tigers are semi-legit, if that even makes sense. I mean, they were up against a juggernaut. Listen, the Dodgers are going 162-0. This team is ridiculous. It's not even fair. I mean, they're hitting the ball out of the ballpark at an alarming clip as well. 1 through 9, they're ridiculous. But the Tigers held their own. They were in every single ball game. They look good.
Yeah, I mean, and the Tigers, they prove that they are good. They're legit. They're probably just a hair behind. But what I love about them is there was, I can't remember who hit it. Might have been McKinstry, hit the ground ball to first base and ran like crazy out of the box. And Freddie Freeman like picked the ball, looked up, and he's like, I got no play. Like I got nothing to do. The Tigers do all the little stuff. They just like they run everything out. They take the extra base. They make the play. And that's a scrappy kind of baseball where they're going to be in a lot of games. Against a team like the Dodgers, though, it's hard because you've got no margin for error.
Zero.
No margin at all. So if they're not perfect, you're going to lose to them.
Yeah. I mean, I really like the fact that AJ Hinch just all 25 guys can play every single day. Like, I love how Hinch just plugs and plays everybody. He plays every single matchup, every single inning. It's incredible to kind of watch how he pieces games together. Like he's in tune. Yeah, a 120, John. I think they're north of that. I think they're over. I think they smashed that over.
We've got some overreactions for later in the show, and this is one of them. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know who beats them. I went from thinking they were going to win 120 to being like, maybe not. Like they've got holes. So I'm back to thinking they're going to win 120.
Yeah, I'm smashing that over after watching this opening weekend. It is crazy.
And the pitching wasn't even that great. Like they didn't pitch well.
No,
they didn't have to though.
I'm with you, Captain. I thought the Tigers hung with them, and it was a fun series to watch. Like despite the outcome, and we hate watch the Dodgers. It was. Fun
I hate watched a lot of the series.
Yeah, but it was fun to see a Tigers team play that brand of baseball because that brand of baseball isn't being played around the MLB right now, right? You don't see the type of baseball that they play night in and night out. It's exciting to kind of see that quote unquote old school baseball. Pretty cool.
Yeah, they just play solid baseball, and they run everything out. They're always looking for an opportunity, but that's because they know that in order for them to win against teams like this, they have to scratch and claw for everything.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let's get into this Yankees Brewers slugfest, error fest thing on Saturday. Yankees win 20-9. Yankees hit 9 home runs, one short of the record. Judge went deep 3 times in 4 innings. Nestor Cortez in his return to Yankee Stadium was not good. Not good. 3 pitches, 3 home runs to start the game. First time that's ever been done.
Brutal.
Nestor Cortez. I think the Brewers are in trouble. But Fried surrendered 6 runs. Yeah, I'm with you there for sure. Fried surrendered 6 runs in his first Yankees outing, backed by 5 Yankees errors. This was just a weird game to watch across the board. I mean, balls flying all over the place. I'm not even talking about leaving the yard. I'm talking about all over the field. Like the Brewers booted a few, threw a few away. It was a wild game to watch.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the Yankees made 5 errors, gave up 9 runs. Fried was not very impressive, but then the Brewers were more so unimpressive. They made a few errors. They couldn't get anybody out. They were just piping fastballs to this team. It was brutal to watch. I mean, I watched almost all of this game because I couldn't take my eyes off of it, but it was like watching a train wreck.
Yeah.
I mean, it was some of the worst baseball I've ever seen, but I couldn't stop watching it because it was just chaos. It was home runs and errors, and all of a sudden the bases are full, then you get a big out, and it was the wildest game I've seen in a while, and I could not take my eyes off of it. But it was not good baseball. Like, do not show any kids out there this game is an example of how the game is played, because it's not.
It legit brought me back to like Little League All Stars, where like guys on your All Star team could hit a home run, but the next couple plays, like they're throwing it out over the first base fence. Like it looked like Little League baseball out there. It was terrible. It was painful to watch, but I mean, 9 home runs though. That was absolutely insane.
And just tanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He said it enough times I was really tired of hearing it.
Yeah, right.
I got so tired of hearing Michael K's voice. I'm like, oh geez, make it stop.
Yeah. There it goes. See ya.
Put it on the board. All kinds of fun. Oh. I mean, it was such a weird game to watch. And even at one point, I think Michael K made the comment of like, I haven't seen a game like this in a long time. Like, it's just, you saw everything. You saw big strikeouts, big outs, errors, home runs, deep counts, terrible at bats, brain farts. It was just, you name it, it happened.
It was strange for sure. But so that game really brought out what everybody across the league is talking about. All the fans are talking about it. Other teams are talking about it. Every broadcast I watched today, they're talking about it. They're talking about these torpedo bats. I think it looks like a bowling pin. That's what I'm probably going to call them.
I was talking to somebody today during like softball evaluations for my daughter, and that's exactly what we said. We're like, it looks like a bowling pin.
Yeah.
Like it's just a weird shape.
Yeah. So MIT engineer MIT engineer moved the weight so it's distributed closer to the trademark and then tapered towards the end, which makes sense. I mean, why wouldn't you put more meat on the barrel of the bat? Doesn't that make more sense to you?
Well, yeah, and they talked to this Aaron Leonard guy, who's actually a coach, I believe, in the Marlins system, but he was with the Yankees in 2022 in the minors when he developed this idea with the help from a lot of people. But basically all they did was they were just studying the points of contact with these various players and saying, hey, most of these guys don't hit a lot of balls in the middle of the barrel. And most of your contact is from the middle of the barrel down to the label. But yet that is the part of the bat, and like you can see in this picture, where it begins to taper. So you're hitting a lot of balls on a skinnier part of the bat. Why not just shift the barrel down, make the end skinnier, we don't hit as many balls, and just align it like and each bat is custom to each player. They study their contact patterns and just make the fat part of the barrel where they're most often to get it, which seems like the biggest duh moment in baseball history is just put the barrel where you hit it.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
This is a good question. I mean, I'm never probably going to swing one of these in my lifetime, but like if you get it off the end, what does it feel like? Is the bat absolutely torched as soon as you hit it off the end of the bat with the barrel shaped like this?
No. So what you've done is you've shifted it. So you used to, when you got the ball on the label, it hurt. Like that was where it rattled and hurt. Now that's the end. The end is where it's going to rattle and hurt.
So you'll still break your bat then? Off the end.
Probably not, because you got the meaty part behind it that's going to take a lot of the the vibration. But if you get the thing inside the label, you're still going to break a bat. You get it off the end, probably not, but you're probably not going to get much on it either. No. But it makes sense. Like if your typical contact pattern is in a certain part of the bat, make that the best part of the bat.
Right.
And it seems like the biggest duh ever. And these have been around for a couple of years. There were players that were beginning to. Anthony Volpe used it a little bit last year as he got used to it. But now there's 5 Yankees using them, and you've got other players around the league that are grabbing them because it's catching on, because really it is a personalized bat. It is built exactly for how you swing and where you make contact. And as a hitter in today's world with guys throwing a hundo all the time, you need any advantage you can get.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and they're all within the rules, so you can't be like, oh, the Yankees are like this was an asterisk year. Like, no, like these bats are approved by the MLB. They fit all of the MLB standards for an MLB bat, the weight, the length, the barrel circumference, everything. So that has nothing to do I bet it blows up like big unit hitting birds.
That would be
I'm
cool.
sure. I'm sure when they break, they shatter for sure. But, yeah, and I don't disagree with this statement.
Yep,
1,000%. I'm with you.
Well, the Yankees have set the record for most home runs in the first 3 games of the season. So, I mean, yeah, it could be. It could also be the Brewers pitching staff is terrible, but
Well,
the bat certainly isn't hurting.
no, but I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, it gives the fans again something to talk about, and we're not talking about the uniforms being terrible this year, so that's good. But I mean, as long as they are all within the standards, the MLB standards, I have no issue with them. I know there's probably going to be some baseball purists out there to be like, oh, these are terrible, these are cheating, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. It's all within the rules. I'm all for it. So,
yeah, I mean, all you're doing. So, Rule 3.02 defines the bat can't be more than 2.61 inches in diameter. It's got to be a certain length, weight, ratio, et cetera, et cetera. This looks all normal. And it fits within all the rules, and it makes sense. You've just shifted the taper. Like all you've done is just cut the bat down differently. It's going to be interesting to see the guys that are using these all year. Like, do we see an uptick from them, or was that just like a opening weekend, surprise?
yeah. All right, Max Scherzer leaves his first start because of his ongoing thumb issue. Is this another year where Max Scherzer doesn't go out and pitch?
It seems like it's becoming a theme with him. It's these little ticky-tack injuries that he can't shake. This thumb thing is, I mean, and not that it's, Max Scherzer's fault, but like this little thumb thing, like you could see everything he threw was flat. Like he had nothing had any bite, nothing had any finish. He was just hanging balls over the middle of the plate and getting crushed. And honestly, like when you've got as stupid as it seems, like that thumb, when your thumb isn't right, you can't grip the ball, you can't spin the ball.
Yeah,
and it was obvious.
Yeah, he said the thumb is the key to my entire arm health. Every pitcher's arm health.
Yep.
You can't put the leverage on your thumb that you need to, then the rest of your arm's junk. So, yep. So I don't know, but I don't know what will happen.
This is just one of those stupid little injuries that is going to probably chew up a whole month or so of the season as he tries to just give it rest.
Yep. So Sagano from the Orioles comes over from Japan. He leaves his start early. Oh yeah, I'm with you, John. He's done.
Scherzer's making more money than anybody this season because 3 teams are paying him.
Great. Only 3? Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, only 3 right now.
Oh, so 1 fell off. The Nationals fall off.
It's still I believe it's still the Nats.
Nash, Mets, Rangers, and Blue Jays.
Yeah, actually, I guess you're right. I think there's
4.
probably 4 then.
Yes, Elizabeth, there is trivia today. It's coming up. It's coming.
We'll get in there.
Hang tight. Yeah, so Sagano left early due to cramps. So, I mean, no arm injury, I guess. But I just put this in. We've talked about it. But do Japanese pitchers continue to have a tough time adjusting to the workload when they first come over here? Because even though he's not technically injured, he left with cramps, which tells me that, muscularly, he's not ready. So what? Like when you sign a Japanese pitcher, are you just expecting them to be on the shelf for an extended period of time? And the guy's also 35, 36. That doesn't help.
No, I mean, and it's, as I said to you, like these Japanese pitchers, man, like they always come over. It seems like every time they come over, and I said it last year, and then Yamamoto missed 3 months or 4 months.
Yeah.
Like they always seem to come over and get hurt. And I don't know if that's because of the workload, if it's the adjustment, if they're just trying to overdo it because they're somewhere new. Like, I don't understand why we keep seeing these problems. I mean, cramps, it could be something as stupid as he just was dehydrated.
Right.
But like it seems like these Japanese pitchers have a tough time adapting to baseball here. And then a lot of times they end up with massive arm injuries, which, Roki Sasaki could be the next one. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, he got yanked early in his first start back over here. So
he's been terrible his first 2 outings.
Yeah.
Couldn't throw a strike. He couldn't buy a strike.
Yeah. Yeah, they throw a lot of pitches in Japan. I get it. But I don't think they throw it with the same effort, max effort, as they do over here. And I think that's possibly why. Um, and pitchers over exaggerate the tiniest injuries.
Well, true.
I mean, they do, but I think in some aspects, like it's also important because if they don't tend to that tiny injury, then it can lead to bigger problems because everything's out of sync. Your body's trying to, overcome that little injury, and then you tweak a knee, you tweak an ankle, throw out a shoulder. A lot of stuff can go wrong if you're not all in sync.
Yeah, the act of throwing a baseball is so abnormal to your body that when it isn't all working as it should, like it gets bad fast.
Yeah. All right. The Oakland Athletics. I mean, sorry. The Athletics.
Jeez, Nick.
Dude, it's such habit, man. I'm sorry. They have given up 0 earned runs through the first 3 games. They finally gave up their first earned run today on a Julio Rodriguez home run. Is this a product of the Mariners, or are the A's actually trending upwards?
I mean,
or is it both?
I think it's both. I think the A's have definitely improved. Severino looked really good. He
Springs
dueled
didn't
with
look bad.
No, Springs looked pretty good. I mean, Severino dueled with Gilbert all the way through. But the Mariners are terrible. Like that offense is wretched. It's I mean, there's John as a Mariners fan. Like that offense is wretched. And I've never seen so many guys that don't have power go up there and swing so hard. Like, why is nobody on that team trying to just make some contact? They're not even up there making contact. They are absolutely swinging from their heels. Guys like Polanco, and it's like, what are you doing?
Polanco actually had a decent series, though.
He did.
He was the only one.
He was the only one. Like, but it's like, hit a ball in the gap. Stop trying to drive ball. I mean, that's also a bigger ballpark. Home runs don't come as easy there as other ballparks. Not that it's like Yosemite or anything or Yellowstone, but it's their approach is so bad. And I do think a lot of it is whatever their hitting program is, whatever hitting coach is teaching them, like whatever they're preaching in that clubhouse, it's not like make contact, get on base. It is like swing from your heels and hope. And the approach makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, your ace, Logan Gilbert, went out game 1, absolutely shoved. And the announcers are like, oh, he's not even, pitching his best, which, I mean, okay. I'd take him at that every start as a Red Sox fan. Like, okay, I'll take him if you guys don't want him. You think he's trash. But he gave up 1 run. Like, it was a 1-0 game for most of that game. Like, if you can't get your pitcher a run, that's an issue.
Yeah.
I mean, you man, that pitching staff, I feel bad for that pitching staff. It is absolutely insane. But I have not missed an inning of the Athletics. I have not missed, which in turn, I haven't missed an inning of the Mariners. I've also watched the Cubs and D-backs every inning of those series, and then obviously Rangers and Red Sox. I'm going to continue to follow this Athletics team. They're kind of intriguing for me. And I'm with you, Brandon. Absolutely,
totally
100%. And they got some young kids coming up that are hitting the ball hard. Soderstrom looks good.
He had 2 home runs this weekend, right?
Max Muncy.
Muncy got his first.
Yep. And then there's another kid I'm trying to think of at the top. Can't remember his name. He's a righty, kind of herky-jerky. I'm blanking on his name right now, but I think the Athletics are going to be fun to watch. The problem with them is they can't get from their starters to Mason Miller. Their middle bullpen is weak, and trading away Lucas Erceg when they did probably wasn't necessarily the best move because he was that bridge to get them to Mason Miller, who is absolutely downright one of the filthiest pitchers I have ever seen in my life.
Gross.
These hitters go up being like, we don't have a prayer against this guy. You think you got his 100 timed up and he drops an 89-mile-an-hour slider on your ass, makes you look foolish. It's insane. But I think the Athletics are going to be fun to watch going forward. So I'm going to keep my eye on them for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you. I watched a bunch of that series. A, because I think the Athletics are interesting, and B, because the Mariners to me are interesting too. Like if that team can hit it all, they're going to be dangerous. And I think the Athletics hung with the Mariners. Maybe they split the series. They hung with them. Like every game was close, good battles. that Athletics team is, I think, what we were hoping they'd be. They are going to be a annoying, competitive little ball club that is going to steal some games from you,
Yep.
and they're going to surprise some people.
Yeah, fully agree. All right, early MLB takeaways from opening weekend. Harrison, go.
All right, I got overreactions for you, Nick. Let's talk about these.
Oh God, here we go.
Athletics are legitimate AL West contenders.
After seeing the Rangers in this opening series, no.
Fair. Here's one for you. The Yankees are still the best team in the AL.
Maybe.
Come on, middleman Dan here.
I'm
Don't give me
thinking
a maybe.
I am. I think the Orioles are up there.
Yeah, the Orioles are good. I think the Blue Jays are better than advertised too.
Yep. If the Orioles keep putting up 12 runs a game, they're going to be right there too.
The pitching won't matter when you score like that.
But the Yankees pitching and defense is wretched.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This is a good question. Blade or Torkelson? That's a tough one for me.
Torkelson's hard because he's been so streaky. He's so feast or famine. Blade does a lot of things for you.
That's tough.
Oh, that is tough. I mean, if I had to pick right now, I would react with Blade. Because I think he gives you more overall. But Torkelson's got scary skills.
And he has for a while. He just hasn't broke through yet.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who just can't string it together.
Yeah. And I'm with you here, John. The A's have guys that, they have. Oh, yeah. They have 6 or 7 guys, especially in that minor league ballpark, that will hit 20 plus. But
yeah, I mean, Langolier, Soderstrom, Rooker, Butler. I mean, there's plenty of guys that are going to hit in that lineup.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry. Yeah. Orioles, Yankees, I think, are at the top right now. And maybe if the Rangers can stay healthy, I think they're there too. I don't think they're the best, but if they stay healthy, they'll definitely contend at the top.
All right. Aaron Judge is hitting 60 plus home runs this year.
Book it right now. He'll have it by week 3.
Well, when you hit 4 in a weekend, yeah.
Jesus.
All right. The Padres are going to challenge the Dodgers.
No. They're good. The Padres are good.
Yeah, they just finished off a 4-game sweep of the Braves.
They did finish off the sweep.
with authority.
Yeah, the Padres are good. They're just I'm telling you, Dodgers are going 160-2. They might have 2 games that they're behind in the 4th inning and they get rained out and they don't make it up. That's how they get their 2 losses. But I just don't see the Dodgers losing. They're that good.
Yep.
And even when they're behind, they find a way to win. Like, I hate it, but the Dodgers are that good.
Yeah.
The Padres are good. Tatis looks like he's back. And that's what the Padres need. They need a healthy Tatis to carry that team and spark that team to get their mojo back.
All right. Well, I guess to answer my next one. The Dodgers might win 120 games. You're already taking the yes on that.
I mean, 120 is a lot. And
it is.
Their starting pitching record isn't that great either. So like health record isn't that great. So as much as I'm sitting here and I'm saying, 160-2, 100 baseball is still baseball. Like, even the best of teams can go out and lay an egg on a given day. And a Miami Marlins team could come in and beat the absolute pants off you. Like, that's baseball.
Fair.
120 games is a lot.
151-11. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, at this rate, I don't know. Does Vegas have the odds on their win total?
Yeah, it was like 105. It was pretty low.
I'm smashing that.
Smashing the over.
I'm smashing the over on 105. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I think they could. I think they could challenge the Mariners 116. I think they really could, if starting rotation stays healthy.
Yep. All right, that leads me to my next overreaction. Roki Sasaki will spend time at AAA this year.
That's hard, because then you're kind of giving him the Rusney Castillo treatment. You gave him a big contract. I think
he has been awful though.
He really has. His location has been
horrendous.
Yeah. If he can't get it together in the next 2 starts, you might see him down there for a couple. So I'm taking that. I think I'm taking that.
I almost feel like you have to give the kid a break to just go get right, because he is clearly not.
And he's young. He's what, 21, 22? No, he's 23. 23. So
so far this year he's thrown 4 2/3 innings, ERA of 5.79, three earned runs, 9 walks, 5 strikeouts.
Yeah, the 9 walks is not what you want there.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
And it's too bad because his stuff is elite if he can get it under control. I think right now he's coming over and trying to prove it. I think it's between his ears right now.
Probably.
And he's just trying to overpitch. He's not letting he's like me with my golf swing. I try to muscle everything and I don't let the club do the work. Like, he's got all the skills, but he's trying to force it when he doesn't have to. Like, just go out and throw the ball, kid.
Yeah. I think he's trying to be perfect rather than just throw strikes. But
yes.
And Brandon, I mentioned this earlier, like when we talked about Sagano, like Roki Sasaki could be the next guy to get hurt, because I do wonder, with his complete lack of command, if that isn't potentially something going on with his arm. I mean, just being skeptical of it.
Yep.
All right. Next one. The Pirates are the worst team in the National League.
Hard to say no. They just lost 3 out of 4 to the Marlins.
And Marlins walked off on him a bunch.
Yeah,
all of them. I'll
tell you what, I watched a good bulk of that series too. That Marlins team, I don't know anybody on it except for Xavier Edwards and Sandy Alcantara. They got their outfield defense is elite, and they got some cannons out there.
It's like watching the replacements.
It really is. I don't know anybody that's on that team, but it's
not
like
a clue.
But they're the kind of fun to watch because of that too. Like, oh, I don't know who these guys are. Like, I'm gonna root for them. It's kind of like the Czech Republic team during the WBC. Right. Like, I'm all in.
I think the Marlins are a dangerous team because they're young and they just don't care. Like, they don't know they're not supposed to win. They're just going to go out and play hard and say whatever.
And I listened to them interview the manager quite a bit, like early on, McCullough.
Yeah.
And he seems like down to earth, realistic, and he's putting these kids in the best position possible to succeed. Like, I kind of like what they have going on down there. Now, we'll see if the front office decides to screw it up like they always do. But I mean, after this first weekend I'm going to watch a few more Marlins games. So I'm kind of excited.
Yep. I honestly found them interesting. So
yeah.
All right. The Guardians are still the best team in the AL Central.
Do you have yes? Question mark? Just because they're like the reigning champs, so someone's got to kind of dethrone them. I don't know.
That series of the Royals was really good. I mean,
it was a great series.
They took 2 out of 3. They were super close games. Those 2 teams, I think, are going to be neck and neck battling all year. I think the Tigers are going to be right there with them.
Yeah, I always forget about the Tigers, but we just talked about them. I don't know. It's too early to tell, I think. But the Guardians are going to battle like hell, like they do every year. You know, Vogt's a great manager. He's going to do the same thing that Hench is doing. Like, he puts his guys in the best position possible to win. Yeah, and I agree, John. Central is up for grabs.
It is. Yeah. Except for the next one, the Twins are the worst team in the AL.
Yeah. No, it's still hard to say that the White Sox are better than the Twins. I still don't think I can put. Hell, I don't even know if I can put the Angels ahead of them right now.
The Twins got smoked this weekend. Like, it wasn't even competitive.
They did. And they're going to continue to get smoked, I think. But so are the White Sox and so are the Anaheim Angels. They're both not good. Worst team. I don't know if they're the worst team. I think it's White Sox.
They're clearly not good.
No.
They are not good.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. KC and Detroit. I think that's going to be a battle with. I think Cleveland's still in it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Any other takeaways?
I've got some others, but I'm gonna pass on them because they're like we're getting ridiculous here. But
I don't care. Bring them. Let's go.
All
This
right.
is our show.
This is our show. Juan Soto will be a bust.
A bust? No, he's not going to be a bust. He's fine.
Although I will say him striking on that hater slider was hilarious.
Gross.
That was so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to leave it at that.
Oh, that was the last one you had?
No, I got a few more, but we're going to leave it at that.
Okay, fine. Yeah, my early takeaways are the Rangers are really good if they can stay healthy. If they can continue to pitch the ball and hit the ball like they can, I think the Rangers are going to take the AL West. Again, health is an issue with them. I'm taking back my Orioles prediction. I had them finishing 4th in the AL East because of the starting pitching. If they're going to put up 15 runs a game, the heck with that prediction, because I wasn't seeing that. New York Yankees, my God, they can't even keep the ball in the ballpark if they tried. I think at this point, if they squared around a bunt, it would leave the yard. That's how hot they are. Like, it's insane. And we knew the Yankees were going to mash. Like, let's be honest. We knew they were going to mash, but not 33 runs in 2 games. Like, that's silly.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
The Yankees right now are a plus 22
after 4 games. Yikes.
After 3 games, they only played
after
3
games. Yeah, that's right. They didn't play. Oh my God, that's brutal.
And don't look now, but you got the Miami Marlins leading the NL East and the St. Louis Cardinals leading the NL Central.
Hell yeah, let's go. But yeah, I think those are kind of my early takeaways. Diamondbacks came back on the Cubs in the bottom of the 8th there. I mean, that was an electric. They put up an 8th spot in the bottom of the 8th to beat the Cubs. They were down by 4. That was an incredible inning to watch. Eduardo Rodriguez actually looked halfway decent today, so that's a plus for Diamondbacks and Diamondbacks fans. Brandon Pfaadt the other night dealt, and Josh Naylor looks like an absolute key fit for that team. He fits in with that swagger. He is raking right now. Diamondbacks are going to be good. No one's going to touch the Dodgers in the NL West. And yeah, I think those are kind of my early takeaways.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think we saw there's a lot of stuff to react to this weekend. There's a lot of
ton.
A lot of good, a lot of bad. A lot of teams that are off to slow starts. A lot of teams that came out just ripping. And I do think that Cubs Diamondbacks series, those are who those 2 teams are. They're going to battle.
Yep.
They're going to play well against good teams. They're going to battle. Those teams are going to be probably seeing each other in the playoffs.
Yeah. Crazy. All right, Harrison. Opening day trivia. Here we go. Which
Jamie
pitcher?
Moyer.
No.
I'm kidding.
Which pitcher has made the most consecutive opening day starts with 14?
Oh, wow. This isn't like Nolan?
Not Nolan.
14.
He might have made the most opening day starts, but not consecutive.
Oh, okay. So this, like a Maddox?
Nope. Right-ish era, little bit before, like a tiny bit before him. Maddox is a great guess, Brandon. Yeah, Harrison just said that.
Thinking the same way I was.
They did. Right. This pitcher did face the Braves in the 91 World Series and went 10 innings.
Oh, so this is from the Twins. It's Morris.
It is Jack Morris. Yes, 14. Pretty crazy.
14 consecutive is pretty good.
Yeah.
Max Scherzer's a good one. He's made a lot of opening day starts.
Yes, you're right. Who was the oldest Hall of Famer to start an opening day at age 46?
Oh, God. Is this like Charlie Huff or... Oh, is it Necro's the other knuckleballer?
Yeah, it's Necro.
It's one of the wicked old guys.
Yep, Phil Necro. Good. Nice. All right. Who has the most career opening day RBIs with 21?
Ooh. Is this White for the White Sox?
Yep.
So is this Frank?
Not Frank.
Is it Konerko?
Not Konerko. He played for other teams as well, but had a stint with the White Sox. He is one of the 3 guys with the most opening day home runs as well, with 8.
Oh, is it Dunn?
It is Adam Dunn. Good. Nice job. Adam Dunn, 21 RBIs. Yeah, he's got 8 opening day home runs. Griffey and I'm blanking on the third. Crapola. Anyways, I obviously don't have that question in here. So, all right.
Good.
Who has recorded the most opening day strikeouts with 107?
My initial reaction would be Nolan. I'm guessing that's not Nolan because of the color.
Right.
Oh, this has got to be Randy then.
It is Randy. Yeah. Obviously. Randy Johnson. Okay, here
look
you
at
go.
that face. Like, you want to talk about,
I know.
we talk about Gibson being scary. Like, look at that face.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Who is the youngest Hall of Famer to start on opening day at the age of 18?
Oh, so my initial thought was going to be like Andrew Jones or Tony C, but those guys are not. Oh, who else would be? Who else would be that young? Is this a Brewers color?
Yes, sir.
Is it Yount?
It is Yount. Yes, good. Robin Yount. Good.
Imagine starting opening day at 18. I mean, come on, man.
It's pretty crazy.
Holy cow.
Yep. All right. The Cubs' Miguel Amaya drove in 5 runs out of the 9-hole to lead the Cubs to victory on opening day over the Diamondbacks. Who was the last 9-hole hitter, also a catcher, to have 5 RBIs in an opening day?
Wow. Just like a David Ross?
Nope. Blue Jays colors.
Oh, I was thinking blue, like, I was thinking Cubs. Okay, I'm on the wrong. Pat Borders wouldn't have at 9.
Nope. After him, more recently than Borders.
So not Kirk. That's too recent.
Yep. A little bit before him. Not by a whole lot, though.
Who am I forgetting in between there?
He's got a niche. Yep.
Yeah. Aaron Sebia.
It is JP Aaron Sebia. Yes, good. Yep, 5 RBIs out of the 9-hole. So,
wow.
Yep, pretty cool. All right. Who is the only team that has never had a walk-off win on opening day?
Never had a walk-off win? Wow. I mean, Padres?
Yes, it's the Padres. Yep, good. They've been walked off on 5 times, but they've never won on a walk-off.
That's amazing.
Crazy. Danny Jansen was a good guess, though.
That is a good
Great
guess,
guess, Elizabeth. Yeah. All right. Next one. Which player recorded an incredible 5,000 OPS on opening day this year?
Say if you didn't say this year part, I would have said Bonds because he probably had 3 walks and a bomb. Which player recorded on opening day this year? So who had?
So somebody asked us about this player and another player earlier in the show.
Oh, is this Torque?
It is Torkelson.
Yeah, because he had walks and a home run.
4 walks and a home run. 5,000 OPS.
Jeez, what a good start.
Yep. Yeah, it's all right.
1 for 1 with a home run.
Yep. Take it. All right.
Oh, Adley, that's a good one. Adley had another monster opening day.
Yeah, he did. That was insane.
He's a beast on opening day. He and Tyler O'Neill.
Crazy. That whole Orioles team, 7 home runs opening day?
Oh, crazy. Yeah, it was 2 from Adley, 2 from Cedric, 1 from O'Neill. Like
Jordan Westberg has 3 home runs too already.
Yep.
Like, God dang.
Didn't Kowser hit one?
Yeah, he hit one.
I feel like everybody hit one.
Yeah.
At least.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Mullins had 2. It's brutal. Anyways. Crazy. All right. With Jackson Chorio's platinum sombrero, He became the third player since 1901 to record 5 strikeouts on opening day. Who were the other two? 1996 White Sox and 2023 Dodgers.
Adam Dunn.
Great guess. No.
Oh boy. All right. 96 White Sox, 23 Dodgers. 23 Dodgers. So is it one of the big guns? Is it Mookie or Freddie?
Not one of them. But
Will-
I would say he's
Will Smith?
not Will Smith. Think from the left side. Third baseman.
Oh, Muncy.
Yeah, Max Muncy,
That
Dodgers.
only makes sense.
And think catcher for the White Sox.
Back in 96. Oh boy.
Pull out the Rolodex.
I know. I'm trying to think. Who was the catcher back in 96?
Ooh, Tommy and Teo. Those are great
those
guesses.
are good ones. Yeah.
It's not Tommy and Teo. Yeah,
Those are good ones.
Max Muncy for the Dodgers. Catcher for the White Sox
Catcher
in
for the White
96.
Sox. I'm gonna be mad about this one.
You are. You definitely heard the name.
I'm drawing a blank on who the catcher was.
Harold Baines is a good guess.
That is a good one.
It is Ron Karkovice.
Ron Karkovice. Okay.
Yeah, Ron Karkovice.
Like I kept thinking like guys like Pierzynski, and I'm like, that's too soon.
Yeah. So pretty cool.
Ron
All right.
Karkovice. All right.
Eugenio Suarez ties a record with 3 home runs in the first 2 games of the season for the Diamondbacks. Whose record did he tie?
Oh, is this like Luis Gonzalez?
It is Luis Gonzalez. Okay. Easy one. And Suarez has now hit 4 in the first 4 games. That dude is on a tear to start.
Not to mention like two flyouts to the warning track and a miss on the gap. Like he is on it.
Yeah.
Sorry, and after getting off to such a terrible start last year, this is great for the Diamondbacks.
Yep. Yeah. When that team is hot, dude, it is incredible to watch. Like
that offense is so explosive.
And if Perdomo stays as hot as he has been these last 2 games, and he just turns that lineup over for Marte and Carroll all day, every day, it's game over. Perdomo is the spark plug in that lineup. If Perdomo's going, that whole team's going. And I mean, that's my opinion, but it's also facts.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that team can just wear you out, and they can also just pile runs on you fast.
Oh, like really fast. Like it took them 4 minutes to score those 8 runs in the bottom of the 8th. Before the Cubs could even call time to like get something situated, like they're just pouncing on them. Like it was incredible.
Well, it's like, I loved watching that series this weekend because like you'd look away for a second, like boom, something happens. It's just it's so quick.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right. Which team holds the record for most consecutive opening day wins with 10, setting the record in 2022?
My initial reaction was the Orioles, but there's no way because they were so bad for some of those years.
Yep.
Not the Tigers. They were bad for quite a stretch. Oh, is it the Houston Astros?
It is the Houston Astros.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Marte is oh man, I've said it before. He's my favorite player right now in the MLB. I think the dude's electric. Never has a bad at bat. I love him. He's great.
Imagine what that team looks like if he's still there.
Oh, you're building around Ketel Marte, and that team looks completely different.
They traded him so young.
Yep. So
they strike like a rattlesnake. Very fitting.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, nice job, John.
Yeah. All right, Harrison.
Oh, okay.
Longest current and all-time consecutive opening day start streaks.
Whew. All right, let's do
by
it.
position. So here we go. Current consecutive opening day starts for a catcher with 7.
All right, so the games I'm going to I know aren't it. Like Sean Murphy's not it because he's out. Adley's not been around long enough. Maldonado's without a job, but he started a lot. Oh, Real Muto?
Yes, sir. JT Realmuto with 7. He is the current leader at the catcher position. Longest all-time consecutive opening day starts for a catcher with 20.
It's got to be one of the Pudges, either Fisk or Rodriguez.
It is Rodriguez. Good.
There's not a lot of catchers that make that many consecutive starts on
No.
opening day.
Yep. Current consecutive opening day starts for a first baseman with 14.
Wow, that's a lot of starts. So that like takes Matt Olson out of it. That takes Christian Walker out of it because he's out. He didn't get it this year. That takes who does that leave for? Who's the kind of Rizzo's not there?
His replacement is though.
Oh, is it Goldie?
It is Goldschmidt. Yep. Good. Yeah, Paul Goldschmidt with 14.
Jeez.
This next one, if you pull this name, this is the only name that I don't think you could ever pull.
Okay.
Longest all-time consecutive opening day starts for a first baseman with 19.
I mean, the names I go to are like, although Rose didn't start at first base all the time. Votto.
No.
Say it wouldn't be Pujols.
This is Joe Judge.
Oh, geez, yeah, no, I'm
Yeah,
not
no
pulling
clue.
that one.
And we would have to bring Forrest and Justin back on for this one.
That question's more in their arena than mine.
Yeah. Freddie Freeman is a great guess.
That
He's way up there, but he's not quite Paul Goldschmidt
19.
territory.
Jeez, that's a lot.
Yep. 19. All right. The rest of these names you should be able to get. So
Great, which means I'll miss half of them.
No, it's facts. All right. Current consecutive opening day starts for a second baseman with 8.
My immediate reaction was Altuve, but he's playing left field now. Second baseman. So let's see who's a long tenured second baseman. In red.
Yeah. He's had a tough string of injuries too, so you're surprised he's kind of been on opening day.
Right. It's like 8 years, 8 starts. Okay. Say not Jimenez. Wow.
Yeah. This one actually surprised me a little bit. He recovered from an injury and then the next game broke a finger. His first game back.
Oh, is this Albies?
It is. Ozzy Albies with 8.
I feel like with as many injuries he had, I didn't even consider him. I went right past him.
I didn't even think he's been in here for 8, which is crazy.
Yeah, he's
Like
actually
8?
been around longer than you think.
Yeah. That was my thing with him is it was like 8 for him already, but dang.
Yeah.
Yep. Ozzy Albies. Okay. Longest all-time consecutive opening day starts for second baseman with 20.
That's a lot. Is that like a Joe Morgan? Is that a...
It is a Joe Morgan.
Is it Joe?
100%. Yep. Joe Morgan.
He's a first name that pops into my head.
Yes, sir. All right. Current consecutive opening day starts for a third baseman with 12.
12. Is that a Chapman? No, that's not long enough.
Not Chapman.
Oh, is it Arenado, who we've talked about a bunch?
It is Arenado. Absolutely. Nolan Arenado. Hopefully soon to be Red Sox when we ship Devers out. But anyways, longest all-time consecutive opening day starts for a third baseman. Come on now.
Is this Brooks?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Robinson.
is there anybody else?
No, not even close.
20.
All right.
I mean, my goodness.
Yeah. 2 current players consecutive opening day starts for shortstops with 9. They're tied with 9.
Is Swanson one of them?
Swanson is one of them.
Okay, so Dansby. Okay. Correa?
Nope.
I think
No,
Correa's probably
Correa.
short of that. It wouldn't be a guy like Pena. It wouldn't be
Think NL East.
Trey Turner.
Trey Turner.
All right.
Trey
Respectable.
Turner. Dansby Swanson with 9.
Wow.
Okay. Longest all-time consecutive opening day starts for a shortstop with 18.
Is this Black for the White Sox?
Yes, sir.
Is this Knapp?
Nope, not
Not
Knapp.
Knapp. Cap? No.
No.
I'm trying to think of the is it Nelly?
Nope, he was second base,
Oh,
but his shortstop.
I know who's his double play partner.
Come on,
It was Nellie Fox, and it was
L.A.
Didn't help. Aparicio.
Yes,
It's like, why could I not think of his double play partner?
Yep, Luis Aparicio. Good. All right.
That was painful.
Current consecutive opening day starts for a left fielder with 5.
Wow, 5. Okay. It's not that many. So it brings a lot of people in. Oh, is this for the D-backs? Is this
yes, sir.
Lourdes?
It is Lourdes, my man. Lourdes Gurriel Jr.
Cal's a great guess as well.
Great guess.
JP Crawford's at 6. That's actually impressive that JP Crawford's had that many opening day starts.
Yeah. 2 longest all-time consecutive opening day starts for left fielders with 17. They're tied.
Left fielders. It's a lot of starts. So it's got Bonds.
Bonds is 1.
It seems like an obvious one. Wow. Left field. I mean, man, he didn't play that many years.
We've already had him as an answer tonight, and it was somebody broke or somebody tied his home run record.
Is this Luis Gonzalez again?
Yes, Luis Gonzalez, Barry Bonds was 17 each.
Man, that's a lot of starts.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Wow.
All right. 2 players, current consecutive opening day starts for center fielders with 6. This one might be a little bit tricky. I think you can get one. You might not get the other.
Who plays center for the Rockies? Is that Doyle?
It is Doyle, but it's not him.
Okay.
White Sox color.
Yeah, it's like I know any of the White Sox players.
You should know this one.
Oh, is it? This isn't Robert, is it?
It is Luis Robert with 6.
I was thinking in center.
Yep. This other guy, I wouldn't have thought he started in center field these six seasons, but he has. But he has jumped from Dodgers to the Cubs to the Yankees.
Oh, Belly?
It is Bellinger. Yes. I thought he started in right field for whatever reason with the Cubs, but opening day he was center field.
Yeah, because I feel like he ended up in right field.
Yep.
Okay.
So Robert and Bellinger. Longest all-time consecutive opening day starts for a center fielder with 20.
Who could that possibly be, Nick?
I don't know. It'd be a wild guess.
I mean, Jarren Duran.
Oh, so close.
I know. Is it Willie Mays?
No, it's not actually.
No, get out of here.
Yeah, it's Willie
I was going to say, there's nobody else who it could be.
Ty Cobb.
Oh, I mean, that's fair.
But yeah, 20. Wild.
That's nuts.
All right. 2 players consecutive opening day starts for right fielders, also 6.
Soto?
No, not Soto.
Oof. Not Soto. Okay, well, that throws me off. Oh, Mookie?
Not Mookie.
Did he start at shortstop last year?
Yep.
He screwed my whole theme up. All right. Right fielders. Say Judge was in center last year, so no.
Stay on the Dodgers though.
Oh, Teo?
Teoscar Hernandez is 1.
Okay.
The second one is a guy that we're actually surprised he stayed on the same team for the second year in a row.
Oh, is this Renfroe?
It is Hunter Renfroe.
He's done that with 6 different teams or 5 different teams.
Yeah, it's wild. Yep.
That's terrible.
Yep. Longest all-time consecutive opening day starts for a right fielder with 15.
Is this your guy, Clemente?
It is my guy, Roberto.
Makes sense.
Clemente. All right. Current consecutive opening day starts for a DH with 6.
Ohtani?
It is Ohtani. Yes, sir. And then I don't have a all-time DH one. For whatever reason, it wasn't listed in the article. So you're welcome. All right.
We're just going to pretend like it was either Edgar or David Ortiz.
Yeah, exactly.
Done.
Or Chili Davis. All right. So
That's a good one.
Yep. All right. 2 players, current consecutive opening day starts for starting pitcher with 4.
Ooh.
And both teams kind of fit this color scheme.
Oh, fair enough. All right. So is this like Logan Webb out in San Fran?
Logan Webb.
And then also in that color scheme. Oh, would this be no?
Say it.
I think is it the Padres?
Not the Padres.
Yeah, I didn't think so. It's not the Orioles because they've had a different.
No.
Not the Mets. Where else can I use that color?
I called him last week. I called him our generation's Greg Maddux.
Oh, is this Framber Valdez?
Framber Valdez, yeah. I call him that not because of the control, but just how frustrating he is. Nobody can hit him.
Yeah, the fact he doesn't have like necessarily the best stuff, but he can hit a penny off the backstop and drive you insane.
Yeah. All right, and longest all-time consecutive opening day starts for a starting pitcher. We literally just had this trivia question.
Did we on opening day?
Yeah, it was the first one I threw out there. Pitched for the Twins.
Oh, Morris, right?
Yeah, Jack Morris.
You're right. We did have that one.
I literally just had.
I was like, wait, what? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So yeah, Jack Morris. So that was all the trivia that I put together for this week. I thought it was fun to kind of do that. So when I was putting it together yesterday, right, I did all the opening day trivia because I was looking for that list for like ever. I couldn't find where I could find like consecutive opening day starts. I had all the trivia questions done. I was working on my last one and it pops up. And I go, this legit has been the list I've been looking for all afternoon. So I was like, I got to put it in now. So that's why I did that as well. So hope you all enjoyed those. Those are fun. I always love putting trivia together. I always love torturing you, Harrison, with them. So
yeah, I appreciate that.
Yep. So yeah, crazy opening weekend. I loved every second of it. Do you have any other takeaways or news or anything from this weekend?
So not from this weekend. I mean, I think this weekend was great. We saw a lot of great baseball, but usually when the season starts, Forbes releases its new most valuable teams of the year. So Forbes goes in, they redo their valuations and they update the financials. And I found this really interesting, Nick. So we're going to just walk through some of the highlights here with both the values of the teams, but also their profit or loss from 2024. So this will be pretty telling. So coming in at number 1, most valuable team in baseball is still the New York Yankees. Yeah. They are now valued at $8.2 billion.
Oh my God.
They increased in value of about 9% from last year. In 2024, they had an operating loss of $57 million. They usually run about break even. So that's a pretty big number for them to actually be operating at a loss. Number 2, the Dodgers, valued at $6.8 billion. That's a 25% increase from last year. Dang. Last year, they actually had an operating income with all that salary. They actually had a $21 million profit. Mostly because the Ohtani effect is being valued at potentially $50 million all by itself.
Yikes.
Number 3, this one will get you, Nick. Boston Red Sox, valued at $4.8 billion, 7% increase year over year. Last year's operating income for the Red Sox, $120 million.
That's how much they made?
That's how much they made. So when we scream about not investing in payroll and players, we're not wrong. They are literally just banking it. I was waiting for your head to explode.
I mean, it did. That's why I didn't say anything. I mean, it's just crazy. We've been sitting here yelling and screaming that they don't spend. And they're like, oh, no, it's like, we just don't have it, blah, blah, blah. We don't want. You've had it.
Yeah.
Like,
you had it all along.
Like, we know. Stop.
Yeah. Number 4, the Chicago Cubs, $4.6 billion, operating income of $81 million. Cubs fans have been very critical of the Ricketts family for a while. Now we see why. The San Francisco Giants, $4 billion. They operated at a loss of $24 million last year. This one's fun. Number 6, New York Mets, valued at $3.2 billion. They were at an operating loss of $268 million last year.
Jesus.
A big chunk of that was the luxury tax they paid.
Yeah.
So, not good for them.
Dang.
Number 7, the Phillies, $3.1 billion, operating income of $9 million. Number 8, Braves at $3 billion, operating loss of $3 million. Number 9, Houston Astros, operating loss of $11 million, valued at $2.8 billion. Number 10, the Angels, $2.75 billion, operating income of $40 million. So when you look across the league, so like number 14, Blue Jays, $2.15 billion, operating loss of $60 million. Nationals broke even. White Sox operated at a loss. Padres, $32 million in income. Orioles, income of $65 million because all those guys are young. That's going to catch them next year.
Yep.
Athletics, operating loss of $23 million. Like when you look around the league, there's not a lot more money to be had when you add this all up. Most of these teams are operating on very thin margins with very little left to spend. And I think the Players Association is screaming for more money. Fans are screaming, just spend the money. I don't know that there's actually that much more money.
No, I mean, just your top franchises.
Yeah. And even then, so you look at it, Yankees operating at a loss, Dodgers slight profit, Red Sox huge profit, but that will change this year. But
Right.
that's a grotesque number. Cubs decent profit, Giants loss, Mets loss, Phillies basically break even, Braves loss,
Yeah.
Astros loss, Angels made some money, Cardinals basically broke even, Rangers loss, Mariners made some money, but not a lot. Blue Jays loss, Nationals 0, White Sox loss. Like there's not a lot of money left to be had. I mean, when you look across the league, the revenue, and now part of that's a revenue problem with teams. The White Sox revenue is probably not as high as it should be because they suck.
Right.
But at the same time, there's just not that much more money to be had. So I think we are seeing the point where the salaries are outpacing the revenue, and you're going to have it's why we are at where we're at, where the economic model is beginning to tear. The fabric of that model is beginning to tear.
Agree. Yeah, I mean, that's why you're seeing free agents sit on the market for as long as you have, right? Because I mean, yeah, we talked about it. Ohtani and Soto absolutely destroyed the market, right? And then everyone else is like, oh, well, I can get that money. No, you can't, because it's not there. Right. So you're asking for something that 30 out of 30 MLB teams can't pay for. So it's crazy.
Yeah. Colorado Rockies operated a $22 million loss last year.
Yeah, which is detrimental to them.
They got nothing left to spend.
No. Yeah.
And they're never going to compete in their own division.
No. Not even remotely. They got nothing. I
mean, the Miami Marlins, as low as their payroll is, operating income $38 million. Like that's one or two contracts.
Yeah.
There's just not that much money to play with.
No. Agree. That's crazy.
But yeah, I found as I'm scrolling through this, I'm like, wow, this is kind of fascinating.
$8.2 billion though for the Yankees.
Yeah, John, the Mariners made $43 million according to this.
So
decent little chunk of change. That would have gotten you a bat.
Yeah.
Would have gotten you a bat. But then also you've got all those young pitchers that are going to get paid too at some point soon. So
yeah,
get prepared.
I think if you're the Mariners, you bank for trying to hang on to at least Gilbert, right? He's the best. He's got to be the ace of that staff, right?
Yeah, Gilbert. I think what ends up happening is that you put all your chips in the middle. You sign Gilbert. You try to deal Castillo to free up $20-something million a year. Then you try to go get a guy like a Woo, and at least keep a couple of these guys.
Yeah,
you're not keeping them all. There's no way.
No. So, dang.
But yeah, it was interesting to read because it really is. It's not the picture that I think they want you to believe. There's not all this money floating around. Like teams are pretty well maxed out.
Yeah. Wow. Dang. All right. Anything else for tonight?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yay baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. That was an exciting opening weekend. got some pretty big series coming up this week already. Got some early ones. We got the D-backs going to Yankee Stadium starting on Tuesday. Red Sox go to Baltimore. So there's some interesting matchups coming up this week. We will be on Thursday to kind of break down the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday series. There's probably going to be a game on Thursday night, so we'll be kind of live watching that, talking some baseball with y'all. So we will be back on Thursday. Thanks again to everybody in the chat. You guys are the reason that we do this. We absolutely love the interactions with you guys in the chat because we're all baseball fans. We all love talking baseball. That's why we're here. So thank you. We appreciate the support. We will be back on Thursday night, probably around 8:30, 9 o'clock-ish, to catch probably the tail end of that Thursday night game, if there is one. I haven't even looked at the schedule. If not, we'll just freeform some baseball. So
It's all good.
Yes, we will see you Thursday night.